Hi, welcome to the Recovery Daily Podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Abbasi, and I am a grateful recovering alcoholic and stroke survivor. And today I want to talk about the freedom that comes from surrendering. And I learned this through my sobriety program, and I'm currently working through it in stroke recovery. So I'm going to talk a bit about chronic pain today and how we can practice acceptance. I'm trying to see if I can articulate it in a way that doesn't sound like fluff. My staff at work always used to know that I wasn't a big fan of fluff in communicating. So a lot of times we repeat words that we hear people saying in society all the time. So like at work, you've got your corporate slang. And so, for example, I would hear my boss say the word emerge, okay? And then I would start hearing it like in every meeting, I would hear the word emerge. He knows this, so it's fine for me to say this. And then I'm like, I guess that's the word of the month is emerge. And then I'm like, somebody else had to have said that word, and he grabbed a hold of it. And then so I happened to be in a meeting with the another executive, and he said the same word. He said emerge, like we're going to what we're going to emerge with from this meeting is that kind of thing. So he's trying to give you an example of how to use it in a sentence. So when I'm doing this podcast, I try really hard to not use words that are just the cool words that people are saying these days, like profound. Like I don't want to say profound every other sentence. And I don't know, transformation. And I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. So because the more that I say that stuff that you can go out and Google it, and everybody's saying the same thing about surrender, freedom comes from surrendering. And what I try to do in the podcast is talk about my experience and make the story, the message of the episode to be a bit unique compared to what you may read on the internet. So, what's my point? I'm just trying not to add the fluff in there, I guess. And I'm not sure if this one's going to come across that way or not. So we're going to see. We're going to see. Let's just do it. So I want to start with sobriety and what I learned about surrendering and how it worked for me. So you sober folks, there's a little bit in there for you. And then I'm going to shift gears and talk about chronic pain. So those of you who listen and have chronic pain, there's also stuff in it for you. And I've got a few listeners that have chronic pain. So hopefully we will learn something together today about surrendering to chronic pain. So step one, for those of you who are not familiar with it, tells us to admit that our lives have become unmanageable and that we can't control not only our drinking, but we can't. It starts to teach us what we do have control of and what we don't. It's very much the serenity prayer. For those of you churchgoers, I have it on the wall because I'm forgetting. That happens, when you forget, when you're on the line, you forget what you're saying. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That's a big, like simple repeated line that we use in our recovery program all the time. I can't tell you how many times I have repeated that thing, especially in early sobriety. And I still do. So in trying to control my drinking, which I couldn't, I was also trying to control everything else because once I realized, well, I can't control this drinking, I'm searching for control everywhere else. And really, what happens is the more control I'm trying to get, the deeper the chaos is inside of me. That's my experience. So today I wanted to talk about how this one decision in step one, and realization that my life is completely unmanageable, and I can't control people, places, and things. I heard people saying that over and over and over again in my program, that it really it planted a seed, and it turned into a complete, here's the word, transformation. I know that's, people say that all the time, but it really, it quieted my mind. That just constant talking in my head about what I should do this, like what I should do with this relationship and that relationship, and how I can control this and how I can control that. I mean, it was constant. When I would go into my meditation meetings on Fridays, it was just this constant chatter in my head. And this surrender, and I tried to surrender a couple times and didn't stop drinking. When I finally surrendered, I thought I was surrendering in the beginning, but I wasn't, because I wasn't willing to do whatever it took to stay sober. When I finally surrendered and was like, I turned off my wanter, that's complete surrender to me. I don't get to pick what I want to do. And at that point, that's when the peace started coming. Sorry, a tickle in my throat. So admitting that my life was unmanageable was the first step towards this freedom, this peace. It's like the more I surrendered, the more the world opened up to me. By acknowledging I can't control my drinking, I stopped drinking, and then I had to face reality. And when I faced reality, I'm like, wait a minute, I can't control that or that or that. Like everything I was trying to control was failing too. And although it was humbling to figure this out and painful in a lot of ways, speaking of chronic pain, it's not just physical pain. There's a lot of people with invisible illnesses, and that chronic pain is in their heart and their mind. I mean, being somebody who has dealt with that for many, many years, that is for me chronic pain. It's just something else that hurts, and it's on the inside. But although it's very humbling, it's very liberating to stop fighting and start opening myself up. It's like a flower. It really is. And by just making that first decision, I start learning how to do it better and better. And I learn how to be still. And not have to react right away. That's the pause. And start to accept that when I stop reacting right away, I can observe, I can be still and observe that life is still happening over there without me reacting. And when I do that, I get to start accepting reality a little more. And then I start, as I watch things play out in front of me, I start realizing it's not so bad if I don't get involved, if I don't insert myself. And and then I start getting a little braver, right? And getting brave in the face of uncertainty, not being afraid to take a step back instead of a step forward, take a step back and sit on the sidelines and watch and see how life unfolds without me. Um, Lots of great things happen if I don't get involved. It's really true. Um, so when it comes to this surrender, when I first got sober, it felt very much like I was giving up. Um, like I can't control my drinking. I give up. It really, it's really giving in, I think, not giving up. Giving up would have been I kept drinking because I knew I was going to die if I kept drinking. So that's what giving up would have looked like to me. Surrender is really quite the opposite. It's more giving in to a higher power, knowing that it's not me. You know, I'm not in control of life around me. And this allowed that chaotic roar of thoughts in my head. I hate to say voices because there are people who truly have voices, and that's the illness, but this is more of just because it really is my thinking and it's constant thoughts like overlapping with each other. And yeah, they're in my voice. I mean, my thoughts are always in my own voice, but I'm not hearing voices, you know what I mean? So this chaotic roar of overlapping thoughts in my head diminished to more of a low hum, you know, a low hum. And so last night, this is interesting. I'm just gonna say this. I've never said this to anybody, so I'm gonna go ahead and see what if you know what I'm talking about. And one of you will reach out to me tomorrow and say, I totally know what you're talking about. So, um, have you ever have you ever sat in a room and it's totally quiet? Okay, it's totally quiet. There's not a single sound. And what you end up hearing is some sort of, it's not a ringing, but it's some sort of loud noise in the background. I don't know how else to explain it. It's like somebody says in my meeting, buzzing. It's a buzz, but I don't know. He actually has a diagnosed disorder. So if I sit in a quiet room and it's like absolutely quiet, I hear this like buzz in my head. So let me know if you know what I'm talking about. Please, somebody say, no, I have no idea what you're talking about. you better go check that out. Or you know what I'm talking about. I've always thought of it as um it's the sound of, I can't believe I'm saying this. I've always thought of it as it's the sound of the world on a frequency just a little different than the one that my ears are allowed to hear. Like, have you ever thought, this is funny, have you ever thought about what the world and the universe and all that stuff? I mean, the universe is different because I think there is no sound out there because of something, I don't know. Um, but like what the earth rotating and all that actually sounds like, um, on a frequency different than what we're able to hear as human beings. Let me know if you've ever thought about that. Okay, I'm moving on. I'm tired of being abstract. Okay, so surrendering does not mean giving up. It has quieted my thoughts a lot, and it brings me, I think that this is how I have gotten to that point where I achieved inner peace, like serenity, where I was out walking that one day and I stopped in my tracks and I'm like, this is it. This is what serenity feels like. There is absolutely nothing wrong at this very moment in my life. There's nothing wrong. That was serenity for me. So I have to do this surrender every morning. It's a daily practice. So every day I have the opportunity to wake up and let go and invite that serenity and peace into my life. Like, the past 2 days, I have felt really, really crappy when I wake up. It's because I've been doing a couple things. I've been overexerting myself, but it's things that I want to do, people. I want to go to the pool and I wanted to go to the farmer's market today. So I have to pay for it. That's what happens. So I felt crappy when I woke up this morning. I felt crappy when I took my nap and I woke up this afternoon. And I felt crappy like the day before that, or else it was after my vestibular therapy. Anyway, it's this week it's been more often than not. I have had this feeling. It feels like a hangover, like a really, really bad hangover. Like I've been drinking for 3 days and I have not drank any water. That's what it feels like in my head. It's the best way to compare. So, even though I wake up feeling that way, um, and it's disconcerting and it makes me think about drinking. It doesn't make me want to drink. It just makes me think when I used to feel this way when I was drinking, I would drink to make it go away. So I have to find an alternative, obviously, way to get myself feeling good. And it takes about 20 minutes, I would say, to actually feel like I can do it. Like I can get up and I can finish my day. And I don't have a choice because I have my puppies and I have a life to live. But it really, really, I don't want to get up when I feel that way. What is my point? So when I do feel that way, even then, I need to invite joy to the surface. Um, and I've done it enough over the past year, had that really terrible feeling in my head, um, dizziness, pain, nausea, and gotten through 20 minutes to a half an hour and started to feel ready to move on with my day. I know that it's achievable. Okay. It's not, I don't want to do it when I wake up. I just, I'm trying to, it's kind of like turning off my wanter. It's just like, it's really just like that, only it's physical pain. So when I first got sober, I didn't want to go to my sobriety meetings on Saturday mornings. I didn't want to go. And it was more of like I'm gonna cry, I really don't want to go. That kind of feeling like when I was a kid and my mom's making me do something and I don't want to do it and I cry. That's how I used to feel when I was in sobriety in the beginning. I didn't want to go to a meeting. I did not actually cry, but that's how much I did not want to go. And I knew that those thoughts were going to keep me away from doing the next right thing. So I had to just get up and do it anyway, turn off my wanter and do the next right thing. So that's how I feel when I wake up in the morning or from a nap and I've got that terrible hangover sensation, even though I have not been drinking and I haven't for 8 years. Um, I feel like it's God playing a trick on me that okay, you quit drinking. Now we're going to give you a hangover again, but you don't get to enjoy it this time. um, but it's the same kind of thing. I have to turn off my wanter and I have to get up and go through the motion of continuing with my day, and then the joy will come. It's like it's riding on my coattails, like it will come and it will catch up with me. I know that. This morning we went to the farmer's market and then we had a lovely breakfast, vegan breakfast at the Silver Diner. They have amazing vegan food. It's not that much, but it's really, really good. So I had a really, really fun morning, and it's my first farmer's market this year. I think I went to one farmer's market last year and it was like I felt terrible afterwards. Um, so I really wanted to go. They're like mini festivals to me. I love farmers markets. So we bought a bunch of stuff, had some more ideas for hobbies for me, like growing mushrooms and stuff like that, king oyster mushrooms and stuff like that. But anywho, we got home, I took a nap, and yeah, I mean, I had that feeling, and it's when I felt the worst in early sobriety that surrendering was the most important at that time. The more I don't want to do something, the more important it is that I do it. Does that make sense? It's like when we're raising our kids, the more that they don't want to do something, and we end up just not being consistent and saying, okay, just this time you get to have a cookie before dinner. You know what I mean? I can't invite that in, and I have to be consistent. So I have to surrender every time I wake up, regardless of the pain and discomfort. That doesn't mean that if I don't feel well enough to get up anyway. I know that limit, I know when I truly cannot get up and I need to ask my husband to help me with this or that. So it doesn't mean that we still have to pay attention to what our body is telling us. But, and that's hard, especially when you have chronic pain, to know. That's one of my problems. I was talking to my niece about this. It's, it's hard to decipher between when I'm tired because I did too much and I'm tired because I'm lazy. And I beat myself up about it. I feel like, oh, I should be doing something right now. And I would say, I'm still trying to learn about myself in this way, but I think that most of the time when I feel tired now, it's not because I'm lazy. I don't think that I'm lazy, but it's taken me a year to figure that out, that this tiredness, although it feels the same as lazy tiredness, it's um it's necessary. It's my body telling me that I need to stop and I need to listen to it. Um, so, so that's important, but I need to, when I wake up and I know that I can carry on, I know that, okay, this is on a scale of 1 to 10. What I feel right now is a 5. That means I can get up. It means when you do get up, that doesn't mean that you need to be picking up your phone and looking at your phone. I may be able to do that if I'm at a 3, but if I'm at a 5, then all you're allowed to do is get up and take the dog out to go to the bathroom. That's it. So I have this scale of what I can do when I feel this or that. I have lots of different symptoms. So I've gotten to this point through acceptance, through mindfulness, and yeah, acceptance and mindfulness. I would say it comes down to those two, like self-awareness. And I think I've spent a lot of time over the past year, over the past year thinking, how am I going to get this to go away? You know, and being like, do you understand? Do you understand what it's like to have a headache every day of your life? That's what I've been trying to communicate to people. I don't have to communicate that. Because I'm on the road to acceptance. I don't even know if I'm ever gonna get to fully accept it, because on bad days I don't want to accept it. I don't want to. And it doesn't mean that I welcome the pain, but I do acknowledge its presence. There it is. There's my headache, my good friend headache. And I'm going to choose not to let my headache dictate my emotional state. And this surrendering allows me to still find moments of joy, even in the midst of discomfort. So I went to the pool I mentioned with my niece. So when she got here, I felt very tired. I didn't feel good. Like I was feeling dizzy. I was at a 5. Okay. So that means was dizzy. I had a headache, and this month, for some reason, I'm having sharp pains behind my eyes. So I was having, and a little bit in my temples, but I was having those, but I didn't let it dictate my emotional state. What I did was I acknowledged that it's there. There's nothing I can do about it. If I want to go to the pool, then go to the pool. If I want to go lay down because I don't think I can go to the pool, then that's what I'm going to do. But what I did was I communicated to her exactly what I was feeling. I said that I should have slept this morning. I should have taken a nap, but I really wanted to do a few things that were fun. And I mean, fun for me is very low key, but I still did stuff, like I went outside with the dogs on the deck and let them play in the pool because I wanted to wear them down so that I could go to the pool and put them in their crates while I was at the pool. But, and then I communicated to her, like, this is how I feel. Like, I have a little bit of a headache. And then, and of course, she's also dealing with chronic headaches, interestingly enough. I hope I didn't give it to her, but she knows what it's like. So that's helpful too. And we went to the pool, and I just tell her when I need to not move my eyes around, we'll sit and talk, and I'll just look straight ahead. And I tell her, I'm just going to look straight ahead because I can't keep looking over at you because it hurts my head. So, and she just says, okay. And we keep talking. So she's a perfect partner. And I'm going to train all of my friends and family to be perfect partners like her. So thank you, Em. So the answer for me really lies in that, and in being able to acknowledge the presence of the pain, um, do a quick scan, can I do what I want to do or not? Because I need to prioritize my health, not my wanter. And then if I can, if my pain is on a scale, if it's a 5 or below, then I can do what I want to do. And that means I'm choosing to not let my emotional state be affected by my pain, because I want to have joy. I want to enjoy what I'm doing. So this mindfulness is very helpful, and it helps me to be able to notice things around me much better. So if I'm all frustrated that I'm in pain, first of all, I need to decide that, okay, I'm not fit for the public. And or I'm not fit for having or for my own self-talk, I need to go take a nap. If in this house we say somebody needs to take a nap. If somebody is grouchy, we always say somebody needs to take a nap. So that's kind of what it is. But if I can practice acceptance and move forward, acknowledging the pain and saying, okay, I'm going to keep moving forward. I'm not going to let this affect my emotional state. Then I'll go outside and sit on my back deck, and I'll notice a new flower. That's what happened. I talked to you guys about my wildflowers that I'm growing on the back porch. And I noticed a new flower this evening. It was like a super, super tiny, delicate pink flower. Super, super delicate. It looks like if you blew on it, the petals would just blow away. And that's and I still didn't feel great, because that was after my nap. But I'm able to just remain calm. I'm starting, I feel like, to just be able to function better and be gentle with myself and be like, it's okay that you don't feel good. Let's just go outside and sit down. And that's so nice because I get to notice little things that make me happy. And I get to sit out there and close my eyes and feel like the warmth of the sun on my face. Life just has slowed down a lot for me, and it's not so bad. I think these moments that are gifted to me are precious. And it is allowing me to be able to share it with you that it is possible to coexist, that joy can coexist with pain. And it's just like when I talked to you several months ago, this was quite some time ago when like, I don't know, about a month into seeing my psychiatrist, and she said that that sadness can coexist with pain. We were talking about complex emotions as human beings, and I think that it's the same. Well, I know it is that joy can coexist with physical pain and emotional pain. It just can, um, and and because of that, I can have gratitude every day, even on days when I'm battling this this hangover without alcohol feeling, even when I say, today's not a good day, I can't go to the farmer's market, even though I really wanted to go. I can find other things to be grateful for. And I can still see progress that I've made in my recovery. Just the simple fact that I am able, like, it is a victory when I get up out of bed in the morning or when I get up from a nap. It is a victory when I sit up, for sure. That might sound very dramatic, but it is. That's how hard it is to get up. Um, and and when I'm going to bed, that shifts. It shifts over to gratitude when I'm going to bed. Like, I did it. You did it. And you maintained positivity most of the day, if not all day. So, how can we surrender to this chronic pain? Um, it can be incredibly challenging. I realize that. And I'm only referring to the pain that I deal with. I know that there are people who deal with pain that is much more difficult than mine. So I never want to come across as if I've got pain that, that might be even close to matching some others that deal with a lot more than I do. But from my perspective, what I can share with you is this acceptance, acknowledging the presence of the pain without letting it define me, recognizing that it's there, but not allowing it to control my thoughts. And by just acknowledging it and saying, no, you are separate than my emotional state, then I am able to remain mentally stable. Because if my mental state starts getting all wacko, then it's only going to amplify my physical pain. It does. I felt it today. Today, this evening, when I was sitting outside, when I noticed that beautiful flower, I started to think about something that was extremely stressful. You don't need to know what it is, but I was thinking of something that's just incredibly stressful, and my head started hurting just from sitting. I wasn't moving maybe I was moving my eyes around because I always move my eyes around, but it was correlated directly with the stress that I was feeling. And so I made a conscious decision to stop thinking about the thing that I was thinking about, and my head stopped hurting. It takes a few minutes for it to go away after it's hurting, but that I think emotional state really does correlate directly with my physical pain in my head. The mindfulness, staying completely present, being aware like that, being aware that, okay, you're thinking about this and it's making your head feel like this. So something's got to change or nothing's going to change. And I made a decision to change, right? So I practice mindfulness as much as possible. Sometimes I'm not great at it. Like, I've read a lot about um, citrus being not good for my head. And I made some lemonade yesterday. And I didn't even think about it. Honestly, I didn't even think about it. And because I just automatically think, well, my head doesn't feel good because I went to the pool yesterday, and because I went to the farmer's market and I went out for breakfast. Like, that's three big things I've done in a row in the past 2 days. But I'm also drinking lemonade along those 2 days. So I would have to drink lemonade in a silo and not do anything else in order to know if that's exactly what if that caused my headache. So I can do that one day or 2 days, drink lemonade and not do anything else. I mean, I don't know. We'll call it a science experiment. But so there are times that I'm not completely mindful, but I'm doing my best, and that's the best I can do. So things like breathing, like deep breathing, I like to just take one big fat deep breath more frequently than sitting down for 10 minutes and breathing. It's easier for me. It makes sense for me, and I remember more often throughout the day to take a deep breath. Probably because I was a smoker and I used to, that's how I quit smoking, was whenever I would think about wanting to smoke, I would take a deep, 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 deep breath. And once I got breathed in as deep as I could, I would take like 5 deeper breaths, like I was grasping for air. That's what I would do. And I don't know, it worked for me. So I have a habit of taking deep breaths like that. So yeah, I'm rambling. Okay. So let's see what else. Identifying the activities that we can do that bring us joy and give us that simple pleasure, but is not exacerbating the pain. This has been important for me. The best thing that I can do when I don't feel good, that's actually something I enjoy, like that's not sleeping, is listening to an audible book. That's the best thing that I can do that is actually shutting down all the things that are symptomatic for me. If I'm really, really, really symptomatic, I can't do that either because the sound will actually hurt my head. But that's when things are really, really bad, when I've got sharp pains and stuff like that. So I think it's important when we've got chronic pain to find that one thing or those couple things that are very, very simple pleasures, whether it's sitting outside on the front porch and looking at your freshly mowed grass that your spouse just mowed or something like that. I used to love sitting on my back deck in Charlestown and looking out at the freshly mowed grass. This was before I was married. I think before he even moved out there. So I was the one mowing it. But it was so pleasurable to just look at this freshly mowed grass. So that is a simple pleasure, listening to music. One thing that you guys remember, I was showing you my maple syrup bottle. Well, I'm going to make a terrarium with it. So right now I'm cleaning some rocks in the bottom of it. And then I went out and foraged those myself in my neighborhood. So I just need to rinse those off. And then I'm adding moss above yeah. So that's next. That's tomorrow. And some charcoal. I think I need charcoal in order to remove I don't know, get the pH level right or something like that. I don't know. I'm asking Chatty McChatterton how to do it. And that's what I'm doing. So this is another simple pleasure because as you guys know, I love to garden, and gardening out in the sun and the heat is very difficult. It's also a lot for my head and my eyes and all that stuff. And so I'm gonna try my hand at making a terrarium. So I have some tweezers and such that are coming in the mail tomorrow. And I'm gonna try to get everything myself from outside. So we'll see. And then I have a super, super adorable idea that I ordered on Amazon. And I can't tell you, but you're gonna want one of these terrariums. Let me just assure you. Okay. Um, so simple pleasures that will help elevate the mood, but try to distract from the pain, but not make the pain worse. You know what I mean? Like it would if I were to go hiking or, doing these things that are really difficult for me. Like, bird watching. I can't do that. Or going out and doing photography. I can't do that. Lots of things I can't. Going for a walk. Like when I'm not feeling well, some things that are simple for other people, I can't do those either. Um, Exercise, it depends on what your pain is, obviously, but yoga is exercise, and also things like Tai Chi. And some of these can be very, very gentle physical exercise that can improve your overall health, body and mind, start reducing some pain over time, and find some underlying enjoyment. And there's also a little bit of those happy chemicals that I talked about a year ago. We should talk about that again. That get released when you start doing some of that stuff, stretching it all out of your muscles. So, um, yeah, I think that's where we're gonna wrap it up there. So I think by integrating some of these gentle activities, they help us to surrender, acknowledge it, surrender, and then try to lean into joy. Sometimes it's not like, it's not like I'm like, oh, I have a headache. I feel like shit, but I'm going to acknowledge it, and now I'm going to go do something fun. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like just acknowledging it and choosing to do the next right thing. And the next right thing is something that feeds my soul and feeds my heart. And that might be picking up the phone and calling somebody. But I want to maintain a quality of life that is acceptable to me. Um, I'm a very happy person. And I cannot sit back and sit in pain and not grow and do something positive with my life. I mean, that's just who I am. I have to laugh and I have to smile. And I have the opportunity to do that even with my daily chronic pain. So I hope that this episode is, if not anything else, encouraging and uplifting, that if you do deal with chronic pain, that if you're having a bad day, you're not the only one having a bad day, first of all, right? We're not unique, but it feels unique, and it's very sometimes pisses us off that we're the ones who have to deal with this, and everybody else gets to go, you know, train for a marathon this summer or something like that. Like, go to the beach. I can't go to the beach. So, one thing that I'm going to do is I have another glass jar that I'm going to make another terrarium in. And I think I'm going to make a beach scene in it. So there's all kinds of opportunities to surface joy if we can um, practice acceptance and know that my life's not over. My life is it's just a new kind of life that's just beginning, and that's kind of exciting. It's not kind of exciting, it's totally exciting. So thank you for listening today. I hope you found it helpful. Please share this with a friend. If you haven't shared it with a friend, you are so not cool. I'll talk to you tomorrow.